right, I'm here with Phumlani Njilo, and Njilo, you've been around the block in terms of celebrity boxing. You're coming up this time against Naak Music, another big name in the game. How are you feeling ahead of your fight on July 26th at Empress Palace?
Yeah, no, I'm feeling good, man. We are here at the Leonardo, the tallest building in Africa. The views are lovely. And thank you so much for coming through for the interview. Yeah, man, to answer your question, yeah, I'm feeling strong. The nice thing about this is that I don't have to drop weight. I actually have to kind of maintain my walking weight. So training camp is going quite well. So far so good.
Yeah, so far so good. You mentioned that we're on the tallest building in Africa.
Yeah.
That's an amazing feature.
Yeah.
You've got the city of Johannesburg in your background as well.
Yeah.
But in terms of the fights and your training, obviously that's where the flash goes out of it. You get stuck in. How's the training been so far?
So the training is good so far. As you know, I've trained with Coach Vusimdolo, and also Gold and Richard are helping me. The guys from Knockout Legends. So training camp is going well. I've still got some time. I think I'm about 5 weeks out. So we still got some time. So Coach Vusi, it's a strength and conditioning one way. But so far so good, Maputi.
And of course, both yourself and Naak Music undefeated in the celebrity boxing, sphere. He's had one fight, you've had two fights. How do you see this fight playing out?
Yeah, man, as you say, Naak Music is not, he's... How can I put it? It's not like a boxer. I think his first fight was with Casper, and I think that was the first time he ever got into a boxing ring, and he did quite well because Casper had, I think, about two fights before that, and he did quite well defeating Casper, and you could see, and I remember as well during his interview, he said he had a chest infection going into that fight, but he still held it down for about 5 rounds, and he came out with the victory. So I'm not taking him as a car guard, I think the guy can box. So I'm excited about the fight. I think he's a worthy opponent. He beat Casper. Casper, he's the face of this celebrity boxing. He's put together some of the biggest events that we've seen here in the country. So I'm going in the fight preparing like I'm preparing for like a proper boxing match. And any professional boxer will tell you the worst guy to fight is a guy who can't fight.
So are you suggesting that he can't fight?
Listen, he's not your typical boxer. He comes out swinging. I've seen some of his videos. But apparently he says he's gone into intense training now, and he's going to come out looking like a better boxer. But I'm excited for the fight, and let's see how it goes.
All right, and obviously yourself, you've been doing boxing for a while now, so you're very confident in your own abilities. You've got a good head trainer in Vusimdolo. How is this fight going to be different from your first two, where you've been quite dominant in those performances?
Yeah, listen, man, the first fight against Big Zulu, Big Zulu came in I think 2 or 3 weight divisions heavier than me. I think the guy came in at about 130 kgs, and I was sitting at 80 or just below 80, or just shy of 80 actually. And I think it was like a suicide attempt of me going into the fight. Most people thought he was going to knock me out in the first round, and I knew that. But I actually, depended on my boxing abilities. Hence, I was moving around the ring. So, and I'm sure that that's like the only fight of, I think that's the only fight of me that you can see online that has kind of trended. So I didn't really showcase my boxing skills, because mainly was just tiring him out, running around the ring, punching his lower body. And I think if you look at that fight and look at how I normally fight, it's chalk and cheese. In terms of me personally, I think that was like the worst display of boxing that I showcased, but I still came out the win. You do what you have to do, Maputi. And I came out with the win. But I think going into this fight, Naak Music, it's catch weight 80 to 90 kgs. I think he's going to come in at about 88, 80, 89 around there, I'm sure, because that's the same weight he came in with Casper. So I'm excited with that it's going to be like a head-on fight. We're going to definitely get into the clinch with him and box it out. So I'm excited for this fight. But I'm also excited to showcase my skills. I didn't get the chance to showcase them against Big Zulu because obviously, as I said, and then Pulus as well, the second fight that I had, I knocked the guy out in the second round. He knew nothing about boxing. So I'm excited to fight Naak. I think he's a really, really, really worthy boxer, and he's got a tough chin. So I was watching his fight with Casper. Casper gave him some big blows, but the guy could take them. So I'm excited for this fight. Yeah.
Of course, it is very windy. We're on the top floor of the Leonardo.
Tallest building in Africa, my brother.
That's it. And a lot of people thought Naak Music one and done. You know, the Casper fight was going to be his last fight. What sort of convincing did it take for you to get him back in the ring?
It's the money, my brother. It's the money. I think I've shared this with you offline once. The kind of money that these guys get paid. You know, the sponsors are paying big money for these celebrities to box. They're paying me good money as well, you know. That's why I don't mind boxing it out. Funny enough, after my fights with Pulusu, I'm going to jump into what you asked just now. So I knock him out second round. I post the clip on my stories. Then Kevin Lerina sends me a DM, says, brother, why don't you turn professional? You know, you've got the skills. Then I told him, listen, my brother, if you see what they're paying me now and compared to what I'll be paid if I'm a professional boxer, it's chalk and cheese. So to answer your question, I think he took this fight. He had said that he was never going to fight ever again after, you're right, after Casper's fight. He took this fight, I think, one for the money. And I think for the exposure as well. It's good for them as well, you know. If a guy's got a hit song coming up, it's a good platform for them to be able to push their brand as well. But also Naak, I think he loves the sport. You know, boxing, once you go once in the ring, Mabuti, it's like an addiction. You just want to go back in again and again and again. I think the bug caught him as well. But more than that, I think it's the money, my brother. I think it's the money. The sponsors are paying them quite big amounts.
And simply put, I mean, obviously, yes, the money. Obviously, being victorious in that last fight would have also enticed him to
the victory
again
as well.
Which belt is on the line for this fight? So I wanted to ask that.
Yeah, man. So we wanted to put his belt on the line and my belt on the line as well. But I think there's some copyright issues as well. You know, I think it belongs to Celebrity City, which is Casper's brand. So he really can't put it on the line. So the promoter, which is Joyce Kungwane TLB, she's creating a belt for us. So yeah, we're gonna be fighting for that belt. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that collaboration because it's at Empress Palace.
Palace, yeah.
Typically, this is the first time we've seen a different promoter promote at Empress Palace for a very long time. Obviously, Golden Gloves has been putting on a lot of tournaments there. TLB Promotions steps in and they got a massive one because they're doing the celebrity boxing and they got a professional undercard as well.
Yeah.
What do you make of the events as a whole?
Yeah, man, I think shout out to Sis J, man. I call her Sis J, Joyce Kungwane from TLB Promotions. You know, she gave me a random call. I was sitting in my lounge. I told you this, and I just got a call. Would you like to fight Naak Music? I said yes. Said how much would you like to be paid? I gave her the purse money. She said yes. We signed the contract the next day. So shout out to her. She put everything together, you know, within 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. So I'm really grateful for that. And yeah, man, she got the venue Empress Palace. You know, I've always been at Empress Palace watching professional fights. I've seen Rocknap fighting, Pikelelani Khumalo. I've been by his side ever since he started boxing. So ever since he started at the Empress Palace, I was with him. So it's a beautiful venue, and I'm sure she's going to put together a beautiful production. So I'm excited for that. And she's a female, you know, promoter, and for her to be able to put this together, and big up to her. And I'm excited for it.
And I want to pose the question, should you get through, because there's 2 guys with 2 arms and 2 legs in this fight, should you get through this fight, what would you like ideally to do next?
Listen, you know, this fight, I think for me is a stepping stone to get the big fight that I'm looking for. I think if I really, perform well in this fight and I beat Naak as I want to get him out the way, I think the fight that I really am looking for in the so-called exhibition league, so to call it for a lack of a better word, I think I should get a crack at the fight that I'm looking for. And the guy knows who he is. And hopefully after this fight, we can get that fight going. And I think it's going to be a very big fight.
I think most people at home can make their own minds up with regards to that answer. Obviously, he's coming off a good win as well. On fight night, let's get an actual prediction going. How many rounds are we fighting, and how many rounds do you think it's going to go?
Yeah, man, it's 4 rounds that we're fighting. I think by watching Naak's fight, I think he's got a very strong chin, as I said. I think he might go 4 rounds, but I definitely want to stop him within 2 rounds. I've got supporters coming in from I've always had my fights in KZN, so the guys are traveling from KZN. I wouldn't want to stop in first round and the guys just want to, and they come here just for 2 minutes. So I'd like it to go maybe 2, maximum 3 rounds. And but I'm definitely going for a stoppage. Definitely. Listen, man. I've always been saying, we learned boxing the hard way, Hayden. I come from knuckle game, a boxing gym. With Lee Dyer. We learned boxing the hard way. We don't go into the ring trying to just entertain. We're going to ring knowing what we're doing. So that's why I'm saying I'm not being cocky by doing this, but it's in my blood. I wanna get the stoppage. So within 3, definitely, I should get the stoppage.
Let's go into your preparation a little bit. Do you spar with professional fighters?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I do spar with professional fighters. I'm there at Phumlani Njilo's gym, and all the guys have been helping me. Darren, Mikey, all the professional guys there. I've had a session with the Raw Knap. All the guys that are in the gym, I've been able to get in the ring with them. But as I said, if you're fighting a guy that's not really kind of skilled in terms of boxing, it's not ideal to just go fight professional boxers. So I am looking for a couple of car guards. So if any boxing gym has got a couple of car guards that that can help me during sparring, hit me up on my DM, and you can give it a crack. I'm not being kind of rude by saying car guards, but that's a word that's used in the boxing world. Yeah. So guys that are exhibition fighters, or guys that are or up and coming white collar fighters, yeah, definitely. I'll definitely appreciate having sparring sessions with them.
Yeah, just to confirm, you're right. That is a boxing terminology.
Yeah, it's a boxing term. Car guards. Yeah.
Come the day where a car guard may actually turn professional and right the wrongs of every boxing guy that's ever called that name. So
yeah, there is a guy who called guys car guards and they knocked him out. So I don't want to use that word anymore. So yeah, shucks. Yeah.
All right, and fantastic. Yeah. Do you have a message for Naak Music before you step in the ring with him?
Yeah, man, Naak. No, thank you so much for taking the fight. I know it's not easy getting to the ring, so I appreciate that. But as I said, I don't just go in the ring for entertainment and for likes and to trend. I learned boxing the hard way. I get into the ring. I know what I want to do. But besides that as well, it's just to bring up the sport as well. So thank you so much for taking the fight. But as I said, third round, you're going down. Let's go.
Fantastic prediction. And then just lastly, Njilo, do you want to thank anyone? Any thank yous, any shout outs?
Yeah, shout out to all my sponsors. I've had guys who've been with me ever since I started these exhibition fights. I can't name all of them, but yeah, thank you so much. They know who they are. Thanks so much to Joyce for giving me this opportunity as well to get in the ring again. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, and thank you so much to Knockout Legends, Richard and Swiso Gold. Thank you so much to my trainer, Phumlani Njilo. Yeah, and thank you so much always, Trevor, Coach Candice, John T. They taught me the sports. I learned boxing at Knuckle Game Boxing Academy, and I'll always be grateful for them for teaching me the sweet science of boxing. So shout out to them, and thank you so much.